Hello everyone and welcome back to Kobean History. Today we're starting a new series. This will be a series of smaller videos looking into the history behind common expressions and idioms. To play devil's advocate is to put forward an argument against a proposition, usually when that proposition does not have many opponents. The person playing devil's advocate does not necessarily disagree with the proposition, but merely provides a counter-argument to test its validity. This idiom wasn't always used figuratively, however, as it stems from a real court position dating back at least to the 16th century. You might wonder who would have hired an advocate for the devil, and it might surprise you that they were employed by the Roman Catholic Church. A devil's advocate would play a role in the canonization process of saints. When a potential candidate was brought forward to become a saint, in order to come to a decision on whether or not to grant sainthood, the church would assign a person known as the postulator to examine the deeds of the person and look for reasons why they deserved to become a saint. To avoid hasty and unwarranted declarations of sainthood, a process called a contradictorium developed, which functioned like a court case in which the holiness of the candidate was put on trial. The postulator advocated for sainthood, so naturally someone would have to be assigned to argue against it. This position was known as promoter fidei, or in English, promoter of the faith. While these were the official titles of the positions used by the church, colloquially, these two became known as advocatus Dei and advocatus diaboli, or in other words, God's advocate and the devil's advocate. This office of promoter of the faith was introduced in 1587 by Pope Sixtus V. But similar practices had been in use before that time. This position became obsolete, however, when the process was abolished by Pope John Paul II in 1983 to make the process of canonization less complex. The term now only survives in this idiomatic expression, which has been in common usage since at least the mid-1700s. There is also a less common idiom, which is the adverse of the devil's advocate, that being the angel's advocate, which is someone who looks for and argues in support of the positive aspects and the benefits of a certain argument, whether they believe them to be true or not. But while the meaning of these two are direct opposites to each other, the origin of the angel's advocate is not linked to that one of the devil's. Thanks for watching. If you want to vote for the next idiom I look into the history of, you can become a patron or a channel member. I'd like to thank my patrons and members for their support, especially my $25 patron G. David.